Hey guys, what is going on? This is your old pal CHH. So, this whole Lionsgate thing is kind of funny, but I do have updates on this. Now, the reality is, this is probably still not going to make half of the people happy, but it is nice that they tried. You have to give them credit that they tried. So, I do have updates. I talked to somebody on the inside, and I was able to get some details on the Saw sequel 4Ks coming out. And the first thing I want to talk about is, this is something, I want to shout him out. Shout out to Zach Higgins. I can say his name about this because all he did was get this off of the Blu-ray forums. Now, this was about this gentleman, Cliff, not Cliff McMillan, the other Cliff that works, I guess, for Lionsgate, who apparently goes on there from time to time and kind of updates the fans on stuff, about stuff. So, we talked about the Saw sequels and Devil's Rejects not coming out as unrated director's cuts. Now, a lot of people, I checked the comments, they're not having it. You know, it's like they don't, it's interesting how nobody actually believes that the material is missing or in not good condition or one or the other. And I think the reason a lot of people don't believe that is because here's all these movies from the 70s and 80s and 60s getting 4K remasters of the negatives, but movies from essentially 20 years ago, the material's not there. Well, it sounded like the reason for that is because they didn't know that 4K... I don't know. I guess the way they did the restorations was digital 2K DI, whatever they call it, and then the material just ends up getting damaged or thrown away for space or whatever. I don't pretend to have the exact knowledge on what happens to this stuff, but it sounds like a lot of people, they just don't buy it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say that it doesn't say the guy would make it up, you know, but it is interesting that the audience doesn't buy it. But anyway, so we talked about Saw 2, 3, and 4 coming out as a theatrical cut, not a director's cut, or the unrated versions is the way they came out on DVD. All right, so when people started talking about the Saw films on the Blu-ray forum page, this gentleman, Cliff, came in and said this after there were some people going back and forth, and this subsequently got deleted from what I understand. Unrated cuts of Saw 2, 3, and 4 will be included on their respective Blu-rays now. New AVC encodes lossless audio, parentheses, the previous discs for Saw 2 and 3 were MPEG-2 and lossy DTS, and loss DTS-HR audio. So, they're improving the audio on these Blu-rays, but I'll have more information in a second because I was able to talk to somebody else. The original plan was to prioritize the new 4K theatrical cut masters, supervised and approved by Darren Lynn Bousman, on the Blu-ray, as well as that seemed to be the better quality version overall. But after being called lazy all day, the studio has been working in overdrive to make sure these releases aren't quote-unquote dog ass. I mean, dude, the audience, go look at the comments. Go look at the comments on the video. Nobody's happy. Nobody was happy. There was a few people. To be fair, there were some people that were like, hey, I'll take the theatrical cuts. But people want the director's cuts of these damn movies. You screamed, ... They listened, spread the word. So, here's the other information I got about this. Here's what I can say. The special feature stuff that they're going to have on here, obviously this is public knowledge. You can see it on the back of those cases online. There's new features with Darren Lynn Bousman and Tobin Bell. I think they're going to be really, really cool. That's all I can say. Obviously, I am not in any position to be able to show anything, but it looks like they are done very well. That's what I'll say about that. Now, here's the other question I know people are probably having about this. Okay, Christian, so they're doing new Blu-rays. They're going to make the Blu-rays unrated. So are they going to be 4K restorations of said 4Ks of the movies on Blu-ray? Or are they going to be the old Blu-rays and they're just bumping up the audio? It's somewhere in between. No, the Blu-rays are not going to be the 4K restorations with the unrated moments put into the film, but they are doing new Blu-rays with new encoding on it, because apparently the encoding on the old Blu-rays are as well dog ass. So they're going to do new encoding. So, you know, we'll see how much better those Blu-rays actually do look and sound. I'm sure that they probably will. I'm sure they probably will. So there's that. So the 4K discs themselves will be theatrical 4K restorations. The Blu-rays will be 1080p, but they'll have better encoding and better audio on those. Now, here's another thing. Obviously, I can't give any sort of concrete thing on this right now, but from what I was told, there is a bigger chance and a higher chance of Saw 5, 6, and 7 being unrated on 4K. The reason is they're gonna, when they go to work on that, which everybody on planet Earth knows they're obviously going to do that next. That's not something that is insider knowledge. They're doing 2, 3, and 4 this year. For God's sakes, they're going to do 4. They're going to do 5, 6, and final chapter next year. It's like, of course, that's what they're doing. It sounds like there may be a better chance of those being director's cuts on 4K. We'll see, though. I mean, they have a better probability of that kind of. They're newer films, so the material for that may still be something. But even then, they may not want to do that, because then what maybe people would be more pissed off if half of the 4Ks are director's cuts in 4K, and then the other half is theatrical cuts. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's where we're at. This is where we are at with these. The features look great. They look like they're done very well, the new features. The Blu-rays will be director's cuts, uncut versions, but they won't be 4K restorations, but they will have new encoding and better audio. I need to know, is this going to make anybody out there, is this good enough for anybody out there? I'm not judging, I have a feeling people are going to be like, still ain't good enough. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the 4K, and maybe, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what I just think this whole thing is kind of funny. You almost wonder if maybe the studios should just put feelers out there and say, what do you guys want, director's cuts or what? Like poll the audience. That's your customer base anyway. But anyway, listen, I can't deny that I am excited for these, but this whole thing is a mess. It's just a mess. But listen, for what it's worth, Lionsgate's listening to you guys. So if you guys keep bitching and pissing and moaning and calling them dog ass, apparently they're seeing it and they're hearing it. So that's the update on Saw 2, 3, and 4, guys. Take care. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.